Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Gartune and today I wanted to dive into the world of creepypastas. If you were a kid like me and scared of everything, whenever you got one of those chain emails that told you had to repost, share, or send to 10 other people or else this thing would show up in your room at 3 in the morning, you would go ahead and forward those things to everyone that you knew because it was funny and definitely not because you thought it was true at all. What I want to do with these creepypastas is I want to first analyze the image that's associated with it and give it a score out of 5. Next I want to read the story and give that a ranking out of 5 as well. Then I want to give the creepypasta itself a rank out of 5 for creativity. So let's look at the image of Jeff the Killer, which is this one right here. It was one of the most notorious images floating around. Obviously, we have the hindsight of looking back at this photo so many years removed and being able to say it looks like it's horribly edited. However, even in recent years, people have done their best to begin looking for this original image, as no one really knows where it came from. Originally, I wanted to give this just an average rating of 2.5 out of 5 for the image, but considering its unknown factor and that people are still searching for the original image today, I'm gonna bump it up to a 3 out of 5 for the photo. But next, we have to get into the story. It is widely agreed upon that the 2011 Jeff the Killer created by Game Fueled TV is the original story, or even if not the original story, just the most famous one from back in the day. So please come take a seat by the fire, sit back and get comfortable as I read to you the story of Jeff the Killer. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Anonymous unknown killer still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream. I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to go back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in a little ray of light, illuminating from in between my curtains, were a pair of 2 eyes. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. I am going to try and keep it together, read this as seriously as I can. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said it in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of the bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. Dang. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. Which, when you're in the moment of an attack, I feel like, unless the police were there like now, I don't understand why he didn't. But regardless, they drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes and that psychotic smile. It will never leave my head. Police are still on the look for the man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work. They thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain though. New, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara, and I live across the street from you." "Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, there's a few new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret." Sorry, I don't know why I made her voice so deep. I think I thought it was going to be Jeff, so that was my bad. Let me try that one again. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my 2 boys, Jeff and Lou." They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them over to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite me to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." Oh boy. "Jeff," said his mother, "we just moved here, and we should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it. Just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff and he walked. What? He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff and he walked down to get it. It's just a weird feeling. To establish that Jeff has a weird feeling. Wonder if that'll come up later. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but once again, dismissed it. A slight tugging pain, huh? All right. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. "Hey, what the hell?" The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked a skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seems to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. Keep that in mind. We are reading the story of an 8th grader right now. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well. Looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, 2 other kids appear. One was super skinny and the other was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face, the one you would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. Looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price of bus fare. If you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. Whoa! Pulled a knife on this kid at the bus stop? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I had hoped you'd be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong. A burning sensation. Burning sensation paired with the tugging sensation. Jeff might need to get checked for something. He stood up, but Lou was gesturing him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my brother's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out a knife of his own.
Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose.
As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped the knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He punched Troy straight in the stomach and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Jeff punched the puke out of this kid? Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. This reads more like a fan fiction to me than a horror story. Jeff is able to just break a wrist, punch a kid so hard he pukes, take one of the knives from a kid and stab him in the arm, while all 3 of them are rushing. And Lou's just looking on in amazement, as would I. Jeff, how did you... That was all he said. They saw the bus coming, knew they'd be blamed for this whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was that feeling. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock at the front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door. His mother looking back at him with an angry look. "Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed." "Stabbed, son?" Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. "Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou." "Son," said one of the cops, "we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us?" Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there was no proof it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say they weren't fleeing, because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. "Son, call down your brother." Jeff could... is that his mother or the cop saying that? Son, call down your brother." Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all those kids. "Sir..." Oh, okay, sir. So it was the cop. How would the cop know his brother's upstairs? "Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me." The cops looked at his partner and they both nod. "Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie." Wait, so this cop, he's able to look at the situation. We have 3 kids here, 2 stabbed, 1 with a bruise on his stomach. We think you're the guy that did it. The kid confesses to it, and they go, "Well, straight to juvie with you then for 1 whole year."
"Wait," says Lou. They looked up at him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns.
Locked on Lou. Officers pulled their guns, locked them on Lou.
"It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it."
He lifted up his sleeve to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. "Son, just put the knife down," said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. "No, Lou, it was me. I did it."
Jeff had tears running down his face.
Poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. "Well, take me away." The police led Lou out in the patrol car. "Well, big bro, trying to take the rap from me again, huh?" "Take me away, officer."
"Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat those kids up." Jeff's mother put her hand on his shoulder.
"Jeff, please, you don't have to do this. We know it was Lou." "You can stop. We know it was Lou." Does Lou have a history? I don't really get why the mom is so quick to not even fight for her son, who's now being pulled away in a cop car. She just instantly believes everything, believes her kids are cold-blooded murderers, both of them, originally, because she is fully convinced it's Jeff, until Lou shows up with the knives and the bruises and gets guns drawn on him, and the mom the whole time is just like passively letting this happened and then just like, no, Jeff, let Lou go. It was very obviously him that stabbed these two kids, just not even fighting for a kid. Mother of the Year award over here. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car sped off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway. Seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. "Son, what is it?" Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back to the house. Seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed, he couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off of his mind. 2 days went by, but no word from Lou and JDC. No friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face because her son is serving 1 year in juvenile hall for stabbing 2 kids. "Jeff, it's the day," she said as she opened the curtain and let the light flood into his room. What's today?" asked Jeff as he stirs awake. "Why, it's Billy's party." He was now fully awake. "Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after..." There was a long pause. "Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed." Why would this random neighbor's birthday party be the thing to brighten the fact that their homicidal brother is serving a year in juvie? I don't understand how this is like the turning point for this mother. She's just like, "I was really grieving, but we have a 8-year-old's birthday party we get to go to, so things are really coming up us now." Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. Fought himself to get up, picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans, walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why they would ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Okay, so our author is aware that kind of being ridiculous. "Son, is that all you're going to wear?" said Jeff's mom. "Better than wearing too much," she said. Mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile. "Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression," said his father. Let me try that again. His dad's wearing a dress too. "Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression," said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. "I don't have any fancy clothes," he yelled downstairs. "Just pick out something," called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he could call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which went with the dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. "You're wearing that?" they both said. His mother looked at her watch. "Oh, no time to change. Let's just go," she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. He knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. "The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go out and meet some of them?" said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well have been standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. "Hey, want to play?" he said. No, kid. I'm way too old for this stuff." The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. "Please," said the kid. "Fine," said Jeff. Put on his hat and he started to pretend to shoot at the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous. Then he started actually having fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time that he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he played with the kids for a while, till he heard a noise. A weird rolling noise. It hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all hopped over the fence on their skateboards. How? On their skateboards? They were able to ollie a fence? Holy cow, these kids are definitely on the cover of Thrasher. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. "Hello, Jeff, is it?" he said. "We have some unfinished business." Jeff saw the bruise on his nose. "I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you get my brother sent JDC. Randy got an angry look in his eyes. "Oh no, I don't get it." Wait, okay. Instead of Randy being an over-the-top villain, I think it's funnier if he reads like a Reddit moderator. "Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today." As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell into the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose. Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off of him. Both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. Whoa, hold on, what? "No one interrupts or guts will fly," they said. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door, Troy grabbing him. "Need some help?" He picks Jeff up by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. Oh my gosh. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts coughing up blood. "Come on, Jeff, fight me." He picks Jeff up and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. That explains where all the the parents are who could easily overpower a 13-year-old, but I guess that's why the guns have to be present in the story so the parents don't intervene. But like at the end of the day, these are two 13-year-olds engaging in hand-to-hand combat. I like to think someone could step in at some point. They're all just trashed off of like Smirnoff. Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Starts speaking like the Joker. Look at me, Jeff. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC. Now you're gonna sit here and let him rot in there for a whole year. You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally. You stand up and fight. Jeff is now on his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets this strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground. He gets on top of him and he punches him straight in the heart. He just Mortal Kombat, just Scorpion, just the punch causes Randy's heart to stop. Jeff has the strength at 13 years of age to punch Randy so hard that he throws up. And then if he aims north just a little bit, he can punch him so hard his heart stops. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch, blood gushing from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and he runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fires on him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith following behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs a towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. They had every intention of killing Jeff at this birthday party. These kids were fully prepared to do a year in juvie for murder. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack in Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He's more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He drops the knife and grabs Jeff by the neck. He pushes him into the wall. A thing of bleach falls down on the top of Jeff from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both start to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter, switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widen as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignite the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as it's caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall, fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, drop to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flames. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed him. I don't think you can get out of bed just yet, she said as she put him back in bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. After hours? She just now showed up to the hospital, and she's just like, I'll pop in and see the kid when I get a chance. My goodness.
Honey, are you okay?
She asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak. Jeff, are you okay? Oh, honey, I have great news. What? This better be the best news ever, which is that he's going to make a full recovery. They've won the lottery. The whole thing was a dream. I don't know what news could actually make this great, but let's see what she's got to say. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed to trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go. Woohoo! The boy walks free. This made Jeff almost bulge up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out by tomorrow. Then you two will be able to be together again. He doesn't get out today. Hey, good news, Lou. It turns out you actually didn't attempt to murder these kids, but we're just gonna have to hold you for the remainder of the evening until, processing and paperwork's done. You get it, but hey, man, you're out of here tomorrow. Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. Wait, she's leaving him there? The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was able to be visited by his family. Then came the day when the bandages were to be removed. The family were all there to see what he would look like. The doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face. Everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. The doctor who would have done any treatment on Jeff and these bandages that presumably need change. Feel like he would have an understanding of what Jeff looks like, but he's just like, oh, my guess is as good as you guys, but fingers crossed that this kid looks all right. Also, what a wild thing to say about a burn victim. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face.
What? What happened to my face?
Jeff said as he rushed out of bed and ran over to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of their distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red. His face was turned to a pure white color. His hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hands to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror. Jeff, said Lou. It's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay?
Okay. I've never felt more happy. Ha 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 ha.
I'm sorry, wait. That's just how it's written. It's ha 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 ha. Ha.
Look at me. This face, it goes perfectly with me.
He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror.
What caused this?
Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind,
His sanity snapped. He was left as a crazy killing machine.
that is, his parents didn't know. What? He was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. I don't know what that means.
Doctor,
Said Jeff's mom, is my son all right? You know, in the head? Is he all right in the head?
oh yes, this mistake.
Wait, what? The doctor's just like, oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back in and we'll give him a psychology test. Wait, what? They're just gonna let him go?
Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go.
This dude is having what is very clearly a psychotic break. They're just like, oh yeah, that's normal. You know, if this keeps up, just bring him on back in. We'll give him a test. Jeff looked away from the mirror. His face still formed into a crazy smile.
Okay, mommy. Ha 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 ha.
His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what came in, said the lady at the front desk. Jeff's mother looked over to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life.
That's abrupt.
Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to the sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked in the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks.
Jeff,
What are you doing? His mother asked. Jeff looked over at his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes, ringed and black.
Jeff, your eyes.
His eyes were seemingly never closing.
I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face.
Jeff's mother slowly started to back up, seeing that her son was going insane.
What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful?
Yes, son, she said.
Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your new face.
She ran into the room and she shook Jeff's dad from his sleep.
Honey, get the gun.
We're gonna put this sucker down Old Yeller style. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway, holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. That's the last thing they heard as Jeff rushed him with the knife, gutting both of them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by the noise. He couldn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised his knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep. And that is the end of Jeff the Killer. Oh boy, was that a journey. Writing style, this very obviously comes from a young writer. I don't want to dog on that too much, but I can't overlook it and say it doesn't play a factor. Some of the line delivery and just the world and how it operates is exactly how a kid thinks people talk, which is very funny. It creates a lot of comedic moments that I did enjoy, but in terms of a horror story, I mean, it's obviously just not scary. But you do have to keep in mind that this comes from the mind of someone who is probably around 13 years old, who is taking this image that they see and now having to retroactively create a backstory for this image, which is an impressive feat in and of itself. They do take some self-insert liberty in wanting Jeff the Killer to be just like them, like a 13-year-old kid who is like secretly a killing machine, secretly edgy, which these days, that would just be a shooter if we're being so for real. As a story premise itself, I would give it 1.5 stars out of 5. What carries this story is the photo. That's what everyone knows. The creativity scale itself, I want to encompass both the image, the story, and then what the community ended up doing with it. So unfortunately, what the community ended up doing with this is not something that I'm particularly a fan of, but it's impossible to know Creepypasta without knowing Jeff the Killer. The story really drags it down, but the impact on the community was very high. I'm gonna go middle of the road as well and go creativity a 2.5. So overall, I'm going to give Jeff the Killer a rating of 2 out of 5 stars. Well, guys, that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me read more creepypasta content or analyze any other horror stories, please let me know in the comments below. I want to let you guys know if you're watching these videos right now, I appreciate you so very much. It just means the world that you guys would come along for the ride and watch these videos. But until next time, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.